And in this hour, we're giving an opportunity to the young people of the Republic equally to have their voices and learners when it comes to matters to do with governance, youth perspective, the youth voice in governance. And on the hot seat is Hafidh Mahmood, who is a youth advocate. Hafidh.
Thank you.
Karibu sana. Question.
Sana.
Have you mastered the Quran because of your name?
Yes,
See?
I did.
See?
I did.
See?
Yeah, you know
Yes.
some of these things.
Who?
You know.
I'm Muslim. You didn't know?
I see.
Yeah, I'm Ibrahim. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Many questions, but I'll explain later.
I'll wait for the explanation.
That's what I'm waiting for as well.
Peter Gitau as well is in the room, and he's a governance and policy expert. Karibu sana, Gitau. Now, gentlemen, today we happen to be in a country where we went and sourced for the proverb, and the country that you're in is Djibouti. So it is a beautiful country, a small country, one would say, with 1.1 million population, and it is a country that uses its port as its biggest resource because it feeds into Ethiopia. Because remember, Ethiopia is landlocked, so they feed them in terms of resources that they do need. Former colony of the French, so French speaking as well as Somali speaking in some areas, and due to intermarriage as well, Ethiopians are in the country, and that is what makes the country be what it is today. The proverb: a person who has not traveled has no eyes. A person who has not traveled has no eyes. I'll start with you, Gitau. How would you interpret it?
Thank you. That actually reminds me of another proverb from our side that says people who have not traveled think that their mother is the best cook because, that is the only food you've tasted. And like I associate with such a proverb because the more you see, the more you get to learn, and you get to understand totally different perspectives in life. If you go to different countries, you're able to learn different systems and how they work. And for a long time, even in this country, you find that if you go to rural areas, what they see and what they hear is what they believe because they've not gone outside their home area. And that has happened for a long time in this country. But I believe that being able to see a different perspective means a lot to anyone.
Hafidh, how would you interpret it?
Thank you. I think I will say it in Kiswahili. Kutembea kwingi ndio kuona mingi.
Yeah. Proverb for a proverb. Short and sweet. Gentlemen, we find ourselves at a point where in the political discourse governance in the country, and the position of the youth is one that has been talked about for a very long time. We must include the youth in matters governance. Youth are the leaders of tomorrow, but youth are saying no, now is our time. And you have to read that together with what we've seen happening in the country. You have to go back to the youth stood up and said, hey, Finance Bill 2024, no, we do not agree with that, But what exactly did they do during the time? They took that document, broke it down, and translated it even to their mother tongue so that their parents understand, so that those who do not understand the difficult language when it comes to making the law do understand that it is the initiative of the youth in matters to do with governance, right? So you read that as well on insecurity that one would say perpetrated by security officers, police officers, extrajudicial killings. Again, the youth, pushing the agenda, saying these must end. Registration of voters, right? IEBC tried, right? But it is, again, the youth of the country who stood up and said, tuko kadi, and we will push this agenda. And one asked the question, do you think that the youth have been given an opportunity under the leadership of the country, time immemorial, to be part and parcel of these conversations? Do the youth have a seat at the table, or are there to be seen and not to be heard? Hafidh.
Thank you once again. For long, I believe we as youth, or the youth of this country, we have been told you are the leaders of tomorrow, and we remained not at the table, but to be the best preferred menu for the political elites and for the elder generations. And the rhetoric has been youth, you'll be included, youth, this and that. So maybe to tick some few boxes as a political requirements, we have been told here and there you are there. But in essence, youth have never been included anywhere in governance. Because if you want to tell me a population of 75% of a country, or let me just pick a county for instance, you are telling in a county you have 60 to 65% youth population. And if you look at the governance institution, whether it is the elective positions, the appointing positions, or any other, out of 10 you'll find either 2 or kama imeenda sana, if we can say they're benevolent enough, 3. So if you are telling me 65% is your number, but you are 0.1% of the governance institution or those who are included, what are you trying to say?
Yeah.
So to me, they've never been included. We have never been included, but this time I think we don't need to be included. We'll include ourselves. Yeah.
What does that mean?
We are leaders of tomorrow, as they used to say. So this tomorrow, today you will be told tomorrow. Then tomorrow again, I think tomorrow never reaches. So this time round, we are taking initiative ourselves. That what you do, don't include us. We are bringing the table on ourselves. So it's either you come to the table, we talk to you, or you'll be the menu.
Yeah.
It's up to you to choose.
Yeah.
So we are bringing the whole table of governance. Yes.
Kamau, as you come in, I think it's interesting to say that the youth, revolutions actually happen with the youth. They come with new ideas and push an agenda and bring something that's very different. That said, for a long time, as you say, there have been more flower girls, literally, to come to, tick boxes, as you said. Question I ask, what is the ideal situation to see the youth properly represented in the governance? What is the picture? And how do they do that? Do the youth really have the power to be able to effect this? Remember, we are leaderless, we are partyless. How do you do that?
Now, I think the truth is, as he mentioned, that, and also as you mentioned, the youth have found a way of having a voice. Like in the protests, they are able to air their voices. They are able to, like if you go online, they are very active. They are able to share anything. They are able to disagree with so many things that happen in this country. And that way they found a voice. But the matter that has been, I think the biggest issue is that the system is just not ready to absorb the youth voice. And I think the way it has been structured for some time, that has been the system. And if you look back, you look at even the traditional society, how our societies were structured. We had young people, we had elders, we had women and the community. And for elders, they provided guidance. The youth were actually acting. And the youth were actually active in such times. You'll find that in times of battle, it's the youth who are acting. But this system right now is a system that does not trust the youth to lead. And I like what he's saying, that we will actually come with the table and we will be the table and we'll have to take it up. Because it gets to a point where we as the youth must be in charge of our future. Because we've seen how bad our futures are being taken for granted when we are not in charge. The youth are coming out. At least I can see that there's so many youths who are coming out to vie for different positions. They are going for MP positions, and they're not just going for these small positions, because that's when hizo ndio tunatuambiwa ndio yenyu youth and any MCA and a councillor ama siju ende gani. And that is how we'll be able to air our voices. And I think one thing that came out very clearly in the 2024 maandamano is that in as much as we had demonstrated, our voice was heard. People saw that we are not happy with this finance bill. But so many changes didn't happen at that time. Like there was a bit of resistance from the system. So the youth are coming to realize we can also change this from inside. We need to get into parliament and air our voices also in parliament. And I'm liking the fact that I am seeing so many young people coming out to vie for these positions. And these are people with no godfathers. They don't have absolutely no godfathers. Right. And they are vying for these positions. And that is impressive on my side.
Just maybe as a follow-up before you come in. It's not that we don't have young people in parliament today. There are, aren't they?
Yeah.
Are they doing the young people's bidding? Because when you look at it, the likes of Osoro is a young man, to be very honest. Babu is a young man. What have the young men done? The senator for, is it
Nairobi,
Sifuna. Then there's this, I've forgotten his name. He was in a scandal. Young people, have they represented the youth in a way that speaks to what you'd aspire to, or you get in there, you become like them?
I think all around there's always some rotten apples.
There are many.
Whether
there are very many.
Whether it's the old, we say even fools grow old. Right. So even in these young people, like we've seen the likes of Edwin Sifuna, who is very impressive, and what I've seen even in this whole ODM saga is impressive. He has stood by his ideologies. He has stood by his ideologies to a point that the party actually wants to kick him out and has kicked him out. So you find that he has been able, and that's the kind of politics young people want. They want politics of ideology, not just we are going as a group. And as you saw, even when they went to broad-based, Sifuna would still come out and speak his mind and say what he stands for, which I found to be very impressive. Because I think for a long time, I think party politics normally dilutes so many of these ideologies that you have. And being able to still be in a party and be able to stand firm on your ideologies is something that has been unheard of. And we are seeing those things coming out in this parliament.
Yeah. Right. Well, today I've been tasked with the task of verifying.
Yes.
So are you a registered voter?
I am a registered voter.
I think I've done my
Nico card.
Because at the end of the day, even as we look at the youth perspective, the discourse is a political discourse.
Yeah. It is.
The economic crisis we are in can only be dealt with politically by establishing a system, a government that is going to follow our constitution, just like the way we want it done.
Governance.
So it's good to verify whether we are all willing and eligible participants in this discourse. Now,
Osido, hakikisha.
We are on to him next week. Now, today I saw a caricature saying there's a graduate who says, "Oh, I've graduated, I'm happy," and then somebody is welcoming them, welcome to hustling, to being jobless. And we have millions of those, right?
It's a job in itself. Job seeking.
Kazi ya kutafuta kazi.
And we have them in millions. Number two, their younger siblings did not make it to grade 10. Just the beginning of this year, right? Their younger mothers are struggling to have clean water, to have basic health care. So the youth are growing around a system that nothing is working. And I think that is what led to the protest of the 2024, when people said enough is enough. It is okay for you to tax our parents, but give them what they are paying for. Because when you don't give them, we are the ones who suffer.
True.
Correct. If the youth understand that now, have we shifted now to a reawakening of taking that anger to action? There's been a struggle in the voter registration. The numbers, there's been significant spike. I think we've hit 1 million or almost,
already.
Which is very good, it's commendable. But still, quite a number is at large, it's not yet captured. But besides the voter registration, are the youth woke enough now to know that unless we action the anger, the resistance, the revolt, by beginning, as you've rightly put it, wanting to participate in being elected, in the elective process, and also because, again, if the only electable people are 1,881, all of them,
you can't
president,
have all of them,
governor, senator, MPs, MCAs, 1,881. The elective positions. So less than 2,000, basically speaking, then there'll be the nominated persons. But meaning the huge number of the youth are not going to get the position. It's a mere representation that we're going to have. But are we woke enough now, Hafith Mohammed, as you come in, to understand that unless we are very deliberate on looking at the character of the person you want to send to office, because the young people who are in office today are really misrepresenting the youth. Are we looking into the character? Are we ready to know that when I go to the ballot, I want to go for health, I want to go for clean water, I want my mom to pay taxes that will be able to sustain some services in our community? How do we look at that?
Thank you. I think before I answer your question, there is a very fundamental question my friend asked to
Peter.
Yes, there are young people who are already in parliament, who are in a very powerful positions, whether it is the Senate, the MPs, or even governors. They are very young governors who are relatively young. But are they doing the biddings of the young people? I want to say it categorically. The problem is not with the persons. How do they come to that position? Okay. You want to tell me you are the one paying my bills. Let me just use, for lack of better words, you are the one paying my bills. And I'm there to represent someone else who you're not paying their bills. I'm not so sure if that makes or that equation fits, because you came through, let me say, a political party that has no goodwill for young people. However much you are there, you wanted to try, you are in a wrong vehicle. You're not the driver. You're just a passenger. So whatever you wanted to do, you can only do two things: uruke na dirisha ukufe ama ubaki hapo ndani. So kwanza watoke kwa hizo magari. That is the first thing. And being leaderless, as we once said, I think we have tested these waters enough. 2-3 times with protest. Now currently trying it with different mode. I always imagine, let's assume the 24th June happened as it was planned. And the government or the system gave in. What next?
Good question.
What next was, I think, the question we were never ready to answer. Yes, Mr. President asimame aseme nimeachana. So what? Who? How? What do we even have? So from that time, I believe many youth are now sitting back and looking and saying, no, we need to take something there. We are fighting system, but we are not also bringing a better system or a structured solution. Yes, we all have thinking, we all need to do something, we all know where we want to go or what we want to do, but the how. If today is, let's say we are taking election today, there are many who will say, okay, including myself, I want to be in those positions. Then what next? What do you want to do?
I mean, it's a great question to ask ourselves, right? Because even at that time, one would say that the youth of the country managed to get what it is they wanted, which was to throw that bill out. But what happens if the youth of the country had pushed to a point where the government surrendered and said, "Agai, imetulemea wananchi have spoken," which then brings me to the next point where, as the youth of the republic getting into governance, right, we are looking at the country running, the constitution being implemented, and services getting to the people, right? Because that is pretty much what we've lacked. Implementation of the constitution is what has not happened in the country. So then, as the youth of the country having seen that and demanding governance, who are we looking at as possible solutions to these problems among ourselves? Because we can't also say we want change, but we are looking at the problem and expect that change will come. We must look at individuals who would champion this change, but we must identify them. So as the youth and the roles that we have to play right now is to identify ourselves with change makers, right? And even among ourselves, because like you said, there are rotten apples within ourselves, right? We have to sieve the worst from the best and go with the best. At this discussion that as the youth of the country we are having in terms of, we want to not even come with our table and the chair, we will bring down the building. right? So that we have this conversation, even without the building, without the table, without the chair. We must have this conversation. But who are we championing as the change makers that we want into these government spaces? Yes.
So,
Hafid.
Thank you. I think that one is a very heavy question. Looking at where we are, the timing, the kind of the political tension we have. Sometimes you're given too many good or bad things till you're not even so sure. You select from which. But the good thing is we'll go for ideology first. So many times we have gone for good things.
Promises.
Promises.
Yes. Singapore.
Will do, shall go. Tumetenga, tutaweka. So many and other short stories. Now, the ideology. Though sometimes now that one will also pick at individual level. There are things I believe in. I'm sure my brother, there are things we commonly believe in. But also that common is not very common to everyone. They are common that's quite unique. Let me speak as someone from the lower side of this country, the northeastern. For instance, my brother could be, let me just say he's from Kiambu. I'm sorry to use, but I'm sure this is one of the best places I can have been there. I can say, this is where I am
from Kiambu.
That's quite accurate. Verified. You're a prophet.
So, what my brother will have wanted to happen, and what I will have wanted to happen, fine, we have common grounds, but could be slightly different. If you ask my friend here, he will not maybe much talk about roads, much talk about water, much talk about good health facilities. There are places in this country, it's not even basic. The most human basic is not even what we dream to have. Someone had never seen tarmac road in their life, had never live off tap, even the normal stream water, had never seen. Health facility, you hear them, maybe Meru, somewhere transfers in Nyeri, in the bigger towns. So you are telling this person, we are talking of now a system where we need to have good governance. What we need to have at first place is not individuals. Is this system good enough to work for those individuals who are in those villages? That if it's not the county that is employing that bulk of youth, there are no hope. There are no industries, there are no private sector spaces. The county can only employ 3,000 to 4,000. That's the maximum. And it's already filled. You cannot come as a governor, even if today I'm elected as a governor. Fine, I'm young. I want to champion for the young persons. Will I go and sack everyone there?
Nope.
How will I even absorb more than 300,000, 400,000 youth who are graduate? Where will I take them? Even if I have a good heart, whatever I wanted to do, where will I take these people? So there are fundamentals. I believe we, even as youth, as we are thinking together, we should bring all perspective into one. Let's say we brought you, or you brought me. Then what? Are we even equal? Where do we start from? I think unless we have that discussion, even as youth, we are not yet ripe to even have that common goal of wanting to change a system. You want to change a system that we don't even understand. It's good we study as young persons. We know the surroundings, the whole country, the demographics, the different good and bad side, the dynamics of the country. Then we can say, okay, it's now my brother who understands what I thought is what I want. So we can go for him. Or it's Kamanya who I can now feel, as much as he has 1, 2, 3 goodies, he understands even better how Isiolo looks like. And I will go for him. So that is, I think I am trying to answer your question on who will champion good. Is the person who, one, will have a better ideology, a good system, and then a good understanding. Because we have had leaders like my good president who can name 12 stops on a road. And if you ask him, what have you done about even one, there is nothing.
put a foundation stone.
Yeah.
So Peter,
Yeah.
That's what I was asking earlier now.
Yeah.
Are the youth, because last time 33%, almost 40% of registered voters did not vote, 8 million.
Yeah.
And largely that number was of the youth.
Yeah.
We are heading in 68 weeks.
Yeah.
Yes, we are counting.
Yeah.
68 weeks. We are going to vote.
Yeah.
Are the youth ready to know enough that they have to engage for them to realize what Mohammed is saying, the change we are seeking as a nation?
Now, one of the things I'm very grateful to this government for, imagine I'm actually grateful for something.
God, this is something.
Is that they find different ways of pinching our mwananchi.
They're doing an excellent job of that.
They are doing an extra job, and they are doing the job for us. Like each single day, they will wake up one day and they'll be increasing the taxes on the payroll. Then they wake up another day, they will be messing up the whole health system. They are changing the whole education sector and how it's being funded. So this pain is actually going back to either this young man, it's going back to the parents, because at times the education is being paid by the parents, or even saa zingine ni black tax. Some other young person who is paying for their brother to go to school. And whenever we are about to forget that they messed up, then wanaongeza mafuta and they don't even have an idea of what they are doing. So they have been doing the job for us. They are keeping us angry. And that is evident in things like, you can see the Tuko Kadi. Young people are coming out bado, and they are registering as voters. So I know for a long time, young people have not been coming out to vote. But at times, the way the systems were designed, like if you look at our politics, the kind of politics that is done on the ground, inagoga tu ile kupeana, you give handouts. And eventually, after the handouts, nothing else is done. But then the protests, they showed these young people that, tumefinywa sana. Saa hizi nilizunguka, and I even saw some video online that showed how shops have been closed down of za mama zetu. Hawa ni mama zetu wamefunga maduka. Na wamezifunga, na unajua hawa ni watu wamekuwa in business for almost I think 5 years.
Your entire lifetime.
Their entire lifetime for so long, but right now they are closing shop. And that pinch will still be felt. And I was seeing also a report by Oxfam that said that the average Kenyans, or half of Kenyans, live at 130 shillings per day.
Below $1.
We might be seated here and thinking how 130 shillings feels small. But that means a lot to people there, kwa ground. 130 shillings. And that effect that is being felt by these people, when that 130 they don't have. And yet our politicians are flashing watches, expensive watches.
Red bottoms.
Yes. So, na tu red bottoms huku wanatembea. They are
very nice.
Yes.
And I like, you're clearly highlighting the issues that are pressing the young people. But then governance and the structure of governance, is, and the rules that we set for ourselves are very clear. What is the understanding from the youth population of the governance structure? And how effective do they think or believe they can be in ensuring that we can turn the tide to make this country what they aspire for? Because it's good to dream. It's good to talk. It's good to be cardy. But remember, a stomach that is empty has no room for ideology. I want to eat fast. So, one, what is that idea or structure or plan that there is to change this country within the confines of the Constitution and the governance structure that we put for ourselves?
Let me respond to that first. I was heading there, so we had a time when there were systems that worked. They partially worked during Kibaki's time, and I think people keep referring to that time from one point to the other. And if you look at some of the policies that had been implemented, how people were getting tenders, how people were being paid by government, how maybe policies by banks, at that time, you will find that banks had a limit on how much debt they could get locally. But right now, if you go to banks, lending to the mwanabiashara is actually riskier than lending to government, so they prefer giving government. So you find for all these policies were set in place to help the economy grow. And if that grows, then people actually get money. And that is exactly what the young people are asking for. They want systems to be in place. They want people who can actually implement downwards. If we are talking about roads, is it roads that people actually need? And I like what Mahamud said, that in certain areas, the need is different. Maybe they don't need roads there urgently. They need a different, maybe a sewerage system. They need something different. Just being able to trickle down all the needs of people and implement them. We want leaders who can actually implement what people want. And again, in the finance bill protests, the issue was that those leaders were not representing the will of the people. They were there and saying yes, yet people are saying no. It did not make sense. So the kind of leaders we are asking for is leaders who can do what the people want, and they're listening to what they want.
So they don't necessarily need to be youth, but as long as they represent the aspirations of the young people. Is that what I'm hearing?
They don't necessarily need to be youth.
That's important, because there's an assumption that young people have to be the ones who have the wheels of power and wielding the authority to do the things that are required.
Hafid.
To me, I'll say two things. The first one, my friend asked if young people understand the structure and workings of governance. I think we have one of the best things in this country. That is our constitution. That gave us everything. So if we needed a good system, that's a good system. That is, to my understanding.
Okay.
We want a very good system, a very good working system. You don't need rocket science. Just implement the constitution the way it is. And we have. But the problem now is, as the ODMSG used to refer to it, is the software. We don't have problem with the laws and whatever. We have everything in place. The institutions, how it's supposed to work, what it's supposed to do. What we have is a 70-year-old person who in his prime life of 30s, 20s, now in his youth age, there was nothing like technology. There was nothing like innovation. There was nothing to say the world is growing towards the technological side. Now this person is the same person. You are giving him to represent you in finance bill. You're giving him to represent you in innovations, in skill growth. What will this person do? It's just like giving my mother, who's not learned, this very informative newspaper. I think the good thing she'll do with it is to look at the pictures. Wow, this one looks good. The other one looks better. Nothing more.
Yeah, true.
That's exactly the kind of problem we are having. From our side, you can imagine there is no young MP. Who can you say this is one MP who's young? Just one. The youngest of all is 45 to 50. That's the youngest person representing us.
As a youth.
Sticking with that, Mahmoud, how does negotiated democracy affect the rising of youthful leadership?
Thank you. Now that is even another problem. If we were to open, it's another Pandora box of problems. So, on the same trail of thought, this person is 70 years. First one, he's fine. He could be 70, but someone who can identify with the happenings around. But one, this person is picked through what my good friend is talking about, negotiated democracy.
Which is very common in the North.
Which is very common. Someone who don't understand governance at all. I don't want to identify a cause, but mtu alifanya kitu completely different with a diploma of 1960. It's now currently leading you, and you are talking to him, we need an e-hub in our constitution. We need an innovation center
AI.
or robotics. What is we need a connectivity of fiber, whatever it is. This person will take another 20 years first to understand. What are you even saying? I'm represented by an MP of 75 years.
Yeah.
I don't want to bring religion, but according to understanding of our religion, the lifespan of a person is around 70 to 65.
70 to 80 max.
Ukienda sana is 8 years. Let's even give that person another 10 years. Someone who will expire in the next 5 years, even his lifetime. I don't want to kill anyone, but it's just humanly.
Yeah, facts.
It's expected.
Someone is 8 years and you're looking for governor. And the problem is not even you looking for governor. I don't have a problem with someone of 8 years looking for governor. The person has been a minister, has been an MP 2 term, has been a senator maybe a term. You have done nothing, completely nothing, but you still want a leadership.
Hope for change.
So sometimes nakana Juliza, what is that you are unable to do in 40 years of your life that you want to do today? Apart from looting and maybe making good life for your great-grandchildren.
Yeah. That's exactly
so
what
that negotiated democracy comes with only 3 things. Let me not delve into it so much. It has only 3 components. One is, how long have you been there in this system? You have worked for government, you have been there. Now that is the merit the elders use. We have a 21, let me say, we have 21 tribe. Maybe in a county or sub-tribe in a county or clan, 21. So each clan will have one elder person like this Raya I'm seeing to represent the views, the need and the interest of a whole community. This person is 70 years or 80. Now that's the elder, because there is structure in negotiated democracy. You don't just negotiate with everyone. There are elders put in place. These are the first cartel.
Okay.
Actually, they are the ones who put themselves there. So I don't know. They are not elected.
Self-imposed cartel.
Self-imposed cartel. These are the
Which is always the case, isn't it?
These are the 21 who are always seated in Nairobi. Who have no clue of even what's going down there. These 21 will pick you on only 3 components. One is how heavy your pocket is.
Which is...
All right.
Can you have 150 million? Imagine an MCA position requiring you to have 30 million for you to vie. Where on earth will I get even 2 million, leave of 30 or even 500,000? My M-Pesa is reading Fuliza and something else. And someone is telling me at Nikujena 30 million so that we even consider you. Whether ukona akili or una akili, we are mad or no problem. Have the 30 million.
So we're having discussions in terms of what it is we need to change, right? And for us to get into these spaces, there has to be a vehicle that is ferrying us there. So we talk about political parties, all right? A call has been out there for the leaders that the young people seem to be leaning towards, so Babuino, Sifuna. And it is because many are saying, even those who are listening, form your own party that will champion your ideas that the young people can identify with. But where that is not possible, if that is not possible, right, there is also another conversation that is coming up, that young people have to organize themselves within these political parties and change them from within, right? Because at the end of the day, let's be honest, in the country that we are in today, majority of members of parliament who sit today are not independent. Majority of them have been ferried there through political parties. So then conversation should be among the youth then. What are we doing, number one? To organize ourselves to come up with a political party, or organize ourselves to change the already existing political parties so that we're able to ferry ourselves into those seats and see the change that we want. Or even if we're not going to change those people, but the agenda that the party carries, the vision of the party will be determined by the youth of the country. Is that direction that we are thinking? Because at the end of the day, kukuwa na gari yenye inatupeleka to the promised land, sitaki kusema ni Ghana na Singapore, has to be the vehicle has to be there. Are we thinking along those lines?
The truth is, politics is, you're definitely building a brand, a brand with your name. That is an expensive affair. And as you said, just going independent is very tough. Just imagine traversing this country, and we've seen even the likes of the former Chief Justice trying to traverse.
Yeah,
ilibidi afungue a pay bill number just to try and garner funds. It's an expensive affair. And these vehicles, the political parties, play a big role in just helping you build an image. You know, when you come together, it's normally easier and less expensive. Like you've heard the numbers that are being mentioned. And if we keep doing the same thing again, no change will ever happen. If we are paying such huge amounts, nita ilipo alini with the salary alini ya MCA. If you look at the amounts that people quote for MPs, when will you ever repay back? So mostly what I have been seeing happening is that in some of these political parties, young people have also been coming out strong in those parties and taking up leadership positions in certain parties. But also I think there's been a push for certain leaders to come up with other parties that have ideologies. Because I think the whole conversation is revolving around the kind of leader we are trying to put into place. And that leader must be a leader with ideology. I think the politics tunaona in Kenya ni leo ni ODM, kesho ni UDA. Sasa even when you sit in a panel like this, unaulizwa wewe, si ulikuwa unasema Ruto ni mbaya. Then you're here saying, hapana hii mafuta iko sawa. You know, like the experts who are to move.
That's what our politics is. I think we are at that level of evolution where probably ideology doesn't necessarily sell. It's more about which side of the bread is buttered at the moment.
But I think if that's the position that we are in, right, these political parties, and depending on which side the bread which you butter it, right, what are we doing to change that? Because it's a problem that does exist. As the youth then, what are we doing? Because, okay, here we will say that we have seen the youth coming up in these political parties. Are they there to be seen?
Exactly.
Are they there to be heard? Are they on the table? Or is it just that questionnaire with a box to be ticked?
Thank you. To begin with, we know political parties is one of the instruments to power. That we can't go anywhere about it.
Yeah.
We must, and we should be. Now the problem is we have how many political parties in Kenya?
90, I think.
90, and it's growing.
Yeah.
Maybe between now and 2022 we'll have around 100. So are we having less of political parties? No, we have enough. And to me, the problem is not with the political party, is the person's ideology.
Yes.
What you are believing in yesterday is not what you are believing today. So sometimes it puts even the political parties, let's say ODM. Some few months ago, we knew ODM for completely different thing.
Yeah.
Now you don't even understand. Is it ODM? Is it individuals? So to me, I'll say two things. One, as a young person, as young people, okay, those who are pushing for the young team, the Linda Wananchi or
Linda Ground.
Linda Wananchi.
Yeah.
To have their own political party. Okay.
It's a different agenda.
It's a ground. Linda Wananchi.
No, because Linda Ground also has
There's a
youth
Linda
leader. So
There's a Linda thing.
Yeah. So let's just take the Linda. With whatever they're lindering.
Yeah.
So those who are pushing for them to have political party, okay, it's one line of thought. But what if there are political parties with good ideal and ideology? Is it must for you to look for another political party?
No.
It's not must. Then second, let's say we take party X, with which we think is now maybe having a few good ideology we as young people identify with. How far are we sure we can do something about even the political party itself? Because in Kenya, as it is now, political parties like your own car. It's you who decides whether you want a new brake, or you will say, wacha niende tu na hii hata nikionga watu hakuna shida. So if those parties can adjust to the demands or the need or the growing youth, then we don't need to have more political parties come up. But if we fail to identify that's the young people. If we fail to identify out of the 90 whatever parties 90, we do have,
90.
that there are no one political party, we can say this one has one less scandal, two has been there maybe not for so long in this system that we can say we want to change everything, including even the political parties, but at least have a leader who identifies with the ideologies of young persons. I don't want to name any political party. As it is now, I've been in few political parties. Nimeshindwa kujiplace, so nikasema to let me take backseat.
Yeah.
Look at, definitely I will be going to one, but hopefully it's the one that will accommodate.
Yeah. But really, just a question. But really, is the problem the vehicle or the driver?
Good question.
Good question, and that's the interest.
And now that this helps you answer your own. Today, when you look at the Standard, we're talking about the sugar scandal.
Yeah.
And it helps you to note that I think last month or this month, the president said in 2 or 3 years we'll be a sugar exporting country.
Yeah.
Earlier in the year or late last year, he said that we had produced in surplus, right? This is playing out. Just recently, we've been treated to the fuel scandal itself. There is a haste of the real money, and then there is a spike at the pump price. So now, because this talks about the driver, the person who sits, at the helm, the buck stops with the leader, or with that the driver of the vehicle we decided to board. When we are looking at people and parties, because today you could have Mahmoud as the president, but if the system still operates as it is now, then the outcome will be the same. That's why you have young people coming into office, but they still operate the same. So are we seeking clearly to understand that systematically we have to change how we've been running, one, our country, to our involvement? Because a lot of people say politics, it doesn't matter. I'm not a politician.
It's a dirty game.
It's a dirty game. But then you realize politics are affecting the cost of sugar. The quality of sugar you are taking this morning is being affected by politics. The price you are paying for fuel this morning is being affected by politics. The quality of healthcare we are receiving or not receiving is being affected by politics. Are we woke enough?
I'm telling you, because the first time I told my mom that I would be active in politics, bwana alipiga magoti wakaanza kuniombea bwana, because as you said, they know how dirty politics is.
Even religion is very political.
Even religion is very political, because they're wondering, my son, what is going to happen. And as you said, I think the driver might be crazy and might be drunk and might be so many other different things. And I think what we are calling on young people and the fact about ideologies is coming back. If it's the same thing about elections. If we have more young people come out and vote with the same ideology, then we are able to change who the driver is. The same thing in a party. If you have more young people or more people with the same ideology and they come into the party, then they are able to change the system. But then again, we have those 70-year-olds who have been in the system who the only thing they can say in parliament is yes. And they cannot even articulate issues of mwananchi. Then the system can never change. So that's why we are calling on a change in ideology. Young people have for so long just sat back and said politics is not for me, politics is dirty. But again, the fuel is going to hurt you whether or not you vote or you don't. Because in the end, that leader there is going to bring in sugar from Malaysia and from some funny country and just bring it in, or bring adulterated fuel, and it's going to mess your vehicle. Eventually, young people are realizing that. And that's why one of the main things I mentioned is that we are seeing young people coming into these parties for, I think, since history, we are seeing more people wanting to participate in 2027 elections. And I'm very glad that they are there and they are coming in. And even in those parties, they're taking up leadership positions in those parties. And a difference will be felt.
I think the final question, because we're running out of time, power is never given. It is taken. The youth of the country have realized that. How are they planning to take this power? How are you planning, individuals, to take power?
Thank you. I think even the word itself, that power is not given, is enough for us to look for it, to fight for it, and to make sure we get it. And the only way we have, as Mzee used to say, we have only one bullet, Yonikadi, that we're going to fire on the day that is coming. And our bullet will only say two things. It's either we are having good passengers with wrong driver, or a good driver with wrong passenger, which is both wrong. And we have been having this problem all along. And what I will say, now that we want to fight for the power, we are looking so much at the top that we are forgetting, even if we place who at the top, as long as my governor remains same, my MPs are same, then we will not have. So what I will say as young people, we this time will bite the least we can chew. Even if it's just that one, let's eliminate that one. And then the moment we are in those vehicles, either as kama makanga or wengine wa kuokota nini kama mechanics, whatever it is, we will be in those vehicle. Maybe we still have time to say, this time we have tried. I'm wondering how I can even read this thing, because once I remember the president saying, I'm sure he was referring to one of these people,
to go to heaven,
that mambo ni matatu ama sijui hata kama liongeza ingine. Now the system, the power we'll fight for should at least start from, let's say, for instance, in my county. Even if we'll have which president?
Yes.
To me, that is my perspective. Even if we have the buck stopping with Kamanya or my good friend here, or even with you, as long as down here we are having problem, we'll still remain with the same problem. So we'll go into this power from top down. At least we have 100 to 150.
In 30 seconds.
I think if you have a drunk driver driving you and you're in the bus, there is no other option. He needs to get out. And he's not going to be a passenger. He needs to totally get out of the bus. And as a young people, we are taking the driver's seat. And that means we are getting into those leadership positions by fire and by fire.
The gentlemen here addressing themselves to the problems that we find as a country, and that is a problem, and that the youth have a voice, and what they must do to be able to deal with the problems that do exist. Youth Perspective, Peter Gitau, governance and policy expert, and Habib Mahmood, youth advocate. Asanteni sana for being here.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.